Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I am very excited to be shoutcasting the top 3 of the Asia qualifiers in India. And this was a huge tournament. I believe had 171 total players, so one of the largest qualifiers in the entire world. I covered the Asia qualifier in Taiwan in a recent video, but as a refresher, the format for this is all the players play in a Swiss round tournament first, and after that, the top 16 from that Swiss tournament move on to a double elimination bracket. Between the Swiss format and the top 16 double elimination, trainers are able to change up their teams. There's also, I think, at least a week in between, so they have a little more time to prep. The top 2 of the tournament will get invitations to Yokohama, Japan for World Championships, so this is a part of the championship series for Pokemon Go, and like all tournaments, there is a lot on the line. So today, I have the winners finals, losers finals, and grand finals to shoutcast for these Indian players, and I'm very excited to see how these battles turn out. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. Alright, taking a look in the first set of battles, we will have a winners finals between Harish 118 versus Akhilesh Varma 87. My apologies ahead of time if I mispronounce any of these names. In the losers final, we have one Scarlet Wiz waiting for their opponent based on the loser of the winners finals. We'll move down to losers finals, and then the winner of the losers finals will move on to the grand finals. Looking at the teams for the winners finals right here between Varma and Harish, we do have a Shadow Lone Ninetales and a Bastiodon on Varma's side there too. I'm already a fan. We actually have Deoxys Defense there too, so no Metagam, no Glaring Stunfisk, no Registeel. Rest of the team looks pretty meta. On the other hand, for Varish's side, there is a Lickitung, which is less common these days, but is making a resurgence, especially with all the Lone Ninetales around. Obviously has the Metagam, Trevenant, Glaring Stunfisk, and Lantern. So we're going to get into the battles here. Bastian looks like a tougher option to bring here, so we're going to have to see if that does happen. But we start off with a Noctowl Mirror here, and we have a Deoxys Defense and a Trevenant in the back for Varma, and a great catch actually on Harish right off the bat here too. Already catching a Sky Attack here, and Deoxys Defense and Trevenant are both okay here. He's actually making a really good read here in bringing in the Deoxys Defense rather than the Trevenant, expecting maybe that the Trevenant is going to be much stronger for whoever's in the back, which is an absolute correct prediction from Varma here. Is going to let the first Earthquake go no shielded here. Now here's the uncomfortable part with Deoxys Defense. You kind of have to throw just resistant moves at Glaring Stunfisk the entire way through, which is a little uncomfortable, but Varish making the right play and not shielding. Double resisted non-stab Psycho Boost or the Thunderbolt is not ideal, and then we see Harish going for another Earthquake. I like this play from Varma, knowing that you don't really want to debuff yourself, and they're likely going to throw an Earthquake here, shield up the Earthquake, counter down, come out with energy. The problem is Harish's Noctowl does have energy, so could just throw the Sky Attack right away and get rid of all the energy here, and is going to charge in priority against the Deoxys Defense, one of the bulkier Pokemon. Typically not going to charge in priority. I don't expect the shield. Oh, we do get a shield. Okay. It's probably not the end of the world because you want to weaken this Noctowl as much as you can, because again, you don't want that Trevenant locked up against it. So I don't hate this play, and we do get a shield back, which is nice. So you're only down one shield, but you still have your own Noctowl to go, and I think you get to another Thunderbolt here, and yes, getting to another Thunderbolt. And this is going to put the Noctowl quite low if it goes unshielded. Let's see if Harish makes the play or not. Chooses to shield the Thunderbolt, so it's getting both shields back here. It's actually pretty huge. This Noctowl does have a scary amount of energy, but Varma's Noctowl is also pretty healthy here. So I think Harish is in a good spot if they don't swap out here. The problem is if they swap out to Lantern, it could be a much dicier situation. But let's see. Maybe you go for another catch on the Sky Attack. That'd be pretty wild. Oh, it does catch 2 Sky Attacks in the same game. What an incredible play here to maximize really these resistant moves on the Glaring Stunfisk and the Lantern here. So definitely a good spot, but you know, now unfortunately met with a really hard counter. And the thing is, this is actually not too bad for Harish, because here's the thing: you're not going to win this match with Lantern in any world, but you could potentially reverse farm down this Trevenant with your own Lantern and come out with a lot of energy. And here's the thing, the Trevenant, the Noctowl on Varma's side has no energy, so that's going to be quite nice. I expect Varma probably just Shadow Claw down here. You want to just take some damage so you don't get farmed down too much. Harish is still going to throw a Surf, which I think is still the right call here, because I think Harish's Noctowl already has some energy, so you're going to just cap out 100 if you leave this Trevenant with too much health. And yeah, you can see as a lot of energy already on this Noctowl, and is going to try to wing attack this down. This is actually going to throw the Sky Tech. I think doesn't want to get hit by another Seed Bomb, which I think is the right play. Maybe, yeah, because if you throw, I guess maybe could got one more wing attack, but just being a little nitpicky because it's easy to lose counts at this point. Is going to throw a few more wing attacks before getting the Sky Attack off. The real question is, I think Varma's Noctowl should outpace here and hang on after, yeah, does not get knocked out here. Can you survive the wing attacks? And yeah, so Varma taking out the Noctowl, but making this matchup still pretty close. I mean, Harish definitely was, especially hard counter against the Lantern matchup, but catching 2 resisted Sky Attacks on the Glaring Stunfisk and the Lantern definitely made this matchup a lot closer than it probably should have been. All right, so first point is going to go to Varma here. There was, unfortunately, no gameplay footage for Varma's side, so we're going to take a look at Harish's side. But it could be a surprise now, because I have no idea what Varma's bring here, so this could definitely be interesting. Alright, so here comes Noctowl into Deoxys defense. I mean, with Shadow Ball and with the, wing attack buff, this matchup was much better than it used to be. And Shadow Ball actually goes unshielded, so that's actually a huge Shadow Ball there. And I expect probably a shield here. I mean, even a Psycho Boost does a decent amount, but I feel like it's a pretty safe shield. You know that it's likely going to be Thunderbolt. And then actually running the same exact line. Harish is just having no qualms about running that line. And trying to catch again, another trying to catch there. Looks like Varma is going to overfarm here and then dip out. And then now comes in with a Trevenant here. This is definitely a good situation for Harish because you have a shield advantage as well, even though you counter swapped a little bit later. But the counter damage from Deoxys defense definitely was adding up, and the main thing is you just really want to avoid this matchup against the Lantern here. The real question is, what is Varma running in the back? Because if Varma has their own Trevenant in the back, this is going to be really bad for Harish. But let's see kind of how that plays out. I mean, having Lickitung and Noctowl, 2 of the harder counters for Trevenant, could make this interesting. But yeah, we saw... Wait, yeah. Wait, never mind. I think I'm mistaken here. But let me think. Yeah, no, never mind. I don't know why I'm saying Trevenant, because we see a Trevenant outside on the screen right now. Oh no, sorry. I'm thinking about the other way around. I'm thinking about if Harish had the Trevenant. Sorry, I'm confused right now because the screens, there's only one screen. But obviously Harish doesn't have a Trevenant because we see the Lantern in the back. So we already know how that plays out there. The Deoxys defense did leave with energy. I expect maybe a swap here, or maybe try CMP and throw back-to-back Sky Attacks. That's also a potential option. But the Deoxys defense definitely has a lot of energy. Might just go for double Psycho Boost or Thunderbolt first. Hard to say, but would have to definitely spend both shields if they want that play to happen. Oh, actually, so not even throwing the Sky Attack here. I don't believe that was even a CMP. So this is going to be interesting. So now swapping to the Lantern. And is getting a lot of farm here. I'm wondering maybe if the last Pokemon for Harish is actually a Noctowl, which would make a lot of sense given the team composition, right? You have Trevenant. Oh, yeah, Noctowl that covers the Trevenant weakness, and that's exactly what happens here. So despite being down 2 shields, Harish is in actually a pretty favorable position here. You have to throw at least 2 Shadow Balls from Varma's side, but the main thing is you have a bunch of energy on that Noctowl still, and that's going to definitely play favorable for Harish here too. So going to come in with a Shadow Ball here, and not enough to KO, of course. And then building up a lot of energy here and throwing another Surf Bait here too. I mean, I think this is pretty safe bait overall. Get that chip damage even if it goes unshielded, and actually does not. And trying to get to that Thunderbolt, probably could throw one more Surf, but again, forcing at least Varma to throw a little earlier here too. This is going to be interesting. You have a ton of entry on this Noctowl and not a ton of health left. So this is going to be really interesting to see who actually outpaces here too. I mean, Harish is, yeah, doing everything he can to stay in this matchup. And it looks like another Sky Attack is coming through here. I don't know. I feel like Varma probably takes this. It's hard to say. Oh, no. Actually, no. That Sky Attack is enough to knock out. Wow. Okay, so Harish actually tying it up here, too. I thought that Varma was going to be able to get one more Sky Attack off, but no, that was a super close one. So now we are going into game number 3, decisive one of this winners finals, and this is kind of a tough situation for Varma here because you don't have a great matchup with the Spark Lantern, but if you do call these Earthquakes, it could be a good spot for you. Looking at the backline matchup of Harish, though, you definitely are in a pretty good spot if you get rid of this Lantern because that Noctowl has a lot of place to go. Although Deoxys Defense is kind of a soft check to Noctowl as well. But yeah, this, yeah, I think I do like the composition from Varma here. Very weak to Trevenant lead, but if you don't get the Trevenant lead, you're in a very good spot here. And going for another Earthquake and trying to potentially catch the Earthquake here, but now you get it locked into this Trevenant. Oh, this is looking really dicey here because here's the thing. You don't really have a Trevenant counter on Varma's side outside your own, but you're also down a shield. Trying to catch that Earthquake, I think, was a decent play here, but it also puts you in a really tough spot. Honestly, I don't even think the catch is what puts Varma in a tough spot. I think it's really more so because you don't really have a Trevenant check. I think if you had Noctowl as your third Pokemon, that could be a different story, right? But yeah, it's going to just throw C-Bombs here, and it's going to go no shielded, actually. So a big no shield call, but back-to-back C-Bombs queued up here, too. I mean, do we see a shield here? You need to weaken this Trevenant somehow. No, it's not going to shield here, which I think is the right call. Oh, actually, the Undercharge. Okay. So this Undercharge is actually really interesting because now you're going to get some meaningful damage against Trevenant, which is what you really want. And if you're Varma here. So actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this Trevenant can Shadow Claw down, yeah, before they get to C-Bomb. So this is pretty big. Unfortunately here, the problem is you're down a shield, and here comes the Noctowl, right? So you need to somehow take out this Noctowl. Actually building up a decent amount of energy, throwing a C-Bomb first before swapping out for some reason. I know that you won't have Switch Advantage now, so you're not going to have it later, but I think, yeah, so it's going to now come in with a Lantern, maybe trying to, I don't know. Here comes an Earthquake, though, and this is going to be a huge shield from Varma here, negating all this damage. The problem is you can't really Spark down. Does Harish get to another Earthquake here is the real question. Oh my gosh, it looks like he really might. Not even going to throw the Surf. They're trying to Spark down, but these double resisted Sparks are just not doing enough there, too. I mean, 2 shields still on Harish's side. Either way, if you throw the Surf there, they just get an extra mud chop for every time, right? So yeah, unfortunately, we know how this one goes. Noctowl into Trevenant. This is going to be Harish's game. I thought this was going to be Varma in 2 games to 0, but Harish making that comeback in game number 2, and then now closing it out in game number 3 earns Harish a spot in the grand finals. So that will conclude that first set, and we see Harish is in that grand finals, and now Varma will be facing against Scarlet Wiz in the losers final. So let's see how this is going to play out. We're going to take a look at the different teams here. We got Varma, same team as last time. We didn't see the Bastion, but that's okay. I think it makes sense. This time around, though, Bastion doesn't look too bad. It has 4 decent positive/neutral matchups, whereas Medicham and Glen Stunfisk is much harder to run into. But Shadow Charizard on Scarlet Wiz's side, it's going to be interesting, and Mantine. So it's going to be very interesting as well. Okay, so again, missing some footage from Scarlet Wiz's side, but again, this makes it more interesting because we have no idea what Varma is going to be playing into. We can make predictions, though. So this is going to be an interesting spot here, relying on that Deoxys Defense Lantern core with Trevenant again. Again, kind of weak to Trevenant here. So let's see if there is going to be a Trevenant in the back or not. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Oh, I just realized Varma doesn't... Oh, yeah, no, it does this Noctowl, sorry. Okay, yeah, so... I don't know. This might be another Trevenant in the back team. I mean, Glen Stunfisk in the lead will cover that Noctowl weakness. I mean, and looking at Scarlet Wiz's team, what else is really a Noctowl counter, right? So I think it might be a Trevenant in the back. The question is, how do you deal with it? But we're going to have to wait and see here, too. You see Varma building up extra energy here. Is going to throw a Psycho Boost here. And this should be enough to knock out if it goes unshielded. And it actually gets shielded. Okay, so going for another back-to-back Psycho Boost. The second one, I don't know if it's enough to shield or not. Maybe we see a double shield from Scarlet Wiz trying to maintain the alignment here. If we get 2 shields, though, your own Trevenant is not too bad. Yeah, but that debuff there makes things a little dicier. And it looks like Clearance Stunfisk might really actually win this 1 shield situation. Yeah, and here it comes. Yeah, that's really the downside of Deoxys, despite the bulk, is that it just doesn't have much play against Galarian Stunfisk because of all the resistances there. Oh, and yeah, unfortunately, it is yet again another Trevenant in the back. This is looking really tough for Varma. I think Varma needs to bring that Noctowl sometime if they're going to keep playing the Deoxys Lantern Core here. But does no shield a C-Bomb, which is quite nice, and go straight for the Shadow Ball here. I like it. Just do everything you can to take it out. But the unfortunate part is your opponent already seen the backline, so I think they just shield. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you don't really get to 2 C-Bombs either way, right? However, the Trevenant is close to Thunderbolt range, maybe even potentially Surf range. Let's see how this goes. Is going to build. Actually goes for the Surf here, too. This is actually not a bad play because I don't think they get to another C-Bomb. So even if this doesn't KO, you can spark it down, right? Get a little bit more energy. Although I think Switch Timer is going to be up. Yeah, Switch Timer is up. So here comes the Regiseal. Now, here's the thing. Lantern typically can beat Regiseal in the 1 shield and 2 shield situation. But in the 0 shield situation, this is actually one that Regiseal wins. And there's actually some chip damage on this Lantern as well here too. I think maybe the Thunderbolt might be a little bit better before you get debuffed. Just get some extra damage. But overall, unfortunately, I think this is going to be in Regiseal's favor here. And yeah, this is going to be, unfortunately... oh, wait. Okay, they have a Regiseal on their team. Interesting. Maybe the graphic I was given is wrong. I will make that correction. So when you're watching this, if you're wondering why I said Galarian Stunfisk earlier, but you see Regiseal on the screen, it's because, yeah, I guess I accidentally put in the wrong graphic there. So it actually is going to be a Regiseal instead of a Galarian Stunfisk. That would be my guess. If I were to make any mistake, that would probably be the one that makes the most sense. All right, so... Alright, Regiseal is going to close out that first game there for Scarlet Wiz. Scarlet Wiz is going into game number 2 here against Varma. Varma does need to kind of dig deep here. And again, bring kind of a weak to Trevenant team. Best Trevenant counter is your own. Maybe you're just really scared to bring that Noctowl for whatever reason. But it's going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here on Charge Room Priority. And Trevenant is going to win that 10 times out of 10 times. And here we go. It is going to come through. And it actually gets shielded. Okay. So that's actually a huge shield from Scarlet Wiz here, because this definitely makes the matchup a lot closer and more favorable for Galarian Stunfisk. Typically speaking, most Trevenants can tank 2 Rock Slides, but it's the third one that typically threatens. And going yet again for another Shadow Ball. I like this. Just throw the damage if you can, right? See, I doubt they double shield, get some meaningful damage, counter down with the Deoxys Defense. You have a shield advantage. Oh, going for the swap yet again. Okay. I don't hate this play, especially, I don't know, let's see what they have in the back here. I mean, you have a shield advantage at least. Is going to yet again tank the damage. Oh, and it's actually just a Rock Side. That's actually going to be very nice. But again, there is that Trevenant. Man, this Trevenant is probably haunting Varma's dreams these days. Going straight away for the Psycho Boost here, though. Kind of an early Psycho Boost, but at the same time, you don't really want to get hit by Shadow Ball and get no damage off. So getting some meaningful damage here is nice. Again, how do you deal with this... this Trevenant here? Wait, hold on. That was a Regiseal. Wait, okay. Oh, that was a Galarian Stunfisk, right? Are they running double seal? Wait, I really have my graphics wrong. Right now, I see a Trevenant, Noctowl, Medicham, Galarian Stunfisk, and Mantine and Charizard. So whatever you see on the screen, it should be correct. But I'm super confused at what the actual team is on Scarlet Wiz's side. We're gonna have to take a look after this one. But yeah, so Shadow Ball is going to come through here and is going to have another move ready here. and it's going to be a C-Bomb, which means that you're able to take out this Trevenant, and here comes the Galarian Stunfisk. This is actually not the end of the world, right? Tank this damage. You already got rid of the... Oh, actually shields. I was going to say, you already got rid of the Trevenant. You already got rid of the Galarian Stunfisk. I feel like you're in a pretty good spot. Okay, it is going to be a double steal team here. And able to just barely get the Shadow Ball off here. So maybe this is going to pay off. We're going to have to see, because this Lantern might be permanently debuffed after this. Again, Lantern is going to thrive in the 1 shield scenario, but down to in the 0 shields, it's much trickier, and this Registeel actually has a lot of energy going into it. So yeah, so unfortunately Zap Cannon might debuff, and it is going to debuff unfortunately before a move is thrown here from Varma's side. But I think Varma is going to start throwing these Surfs. Unfortunately, with the debuff, this is going to take a lot of Surfs. I think probably at least 5, if I don't know, even more than 5 actually. Wow, this Registeel looks like an Ultra League Registeel at this point. It looks like Registeel is going to get to yet another move here, and it looks like Zap Cannon is enough to yeah, take this out here. And going to lock on down. So that's going to be a 2-0 for Scarlet Wiz, and it's going to be Scarlet Wiz versus Harish in the grand finals here too. So we're going to take a quick look at the teams here. Of course, the graphic is probably wrong on my side, but hopefully it is corrected on your side here, so that way you can know what's the actual team. I'm quickly trying to scroll up and find the actual team compositions here for India, just to make sure that we have the correct one here too. Again, unfortunately, we don't have all the footage here. These trainers were recording just for this. Okay, so we do see a Mantine. So Mantine is actually correctly listed here too. So the real question is, what is Scarlet? Oh wait, so they are running Double Steel, Mantine, Charizard, Medicham, Trevenant. Oh, so no Noctowl. Sorry, I actually put in a Noctowl. So Double Steel with no Noctowl. So that's what it is. Yeah, that would make sense, right? Triple Flyer seems a little kind of wild now that I think about it. So sorry, my apologies here. But of course, you all know already because I already corrected the graphic after the fact. But that makes a lot more sense. So we see a Mantine here. This is going to be interesting. We don't really see Mantine quite a bit, but these debuffs are going to start getting kind of annoying. However, I don't know if Mantine wins this matchup or not. With the wing attack buff, I'm actually not super sure. But you really don't want to swap to anything here. And having a shield advantage is going to be pretty nice. But Mantine actually is going to be pretty annoying for this entire line from Harish's side. So we're going to have to see how Harish is going to adjust here too. As a reminder, this is going to be best of 3s in the grand finals as well. And you can see the W next to Harish's side means that they are on the winner's side of the bracket. So they only need to win 1 set, whereas Scarlet Wiz needs to win 2. All right, swapping out now to Noctowl. But again, this is just such an annoying matchup here because you have the Ice Beam. Potentially could be a Bubble Beam as well. And like, you just don't want to have to shield a Bubble Beam, but this might just be the Ice Beam, and it actually, no, it is a Bubble Beam. Okay, so that's going to come in handy. Do we see a Steel type in the back? It's interesting enough. Scarlet Wiz has not swapped out here yet. There's going to be a debuff Sky Attack, but again, this Mantine's going to just like do some really annoying damage over time. And it looks like the Sky Attack is going to land. Scarlet Wiz actually not even swapping out here. Just staying in, just going to throw these moves. This might be an Ice Beam, but again, could also be a Bubble Beam. We're going to have to see. And this one is going to be Ice Beam. So correctly shielded from Harish here. But again, that Noctowl is still debuffed by quite a bit here. And typically speaking, Noctowl doesn't have the worst matchup against Galarian Stunfisk. But when debuffed, this might be a different story. So only single debuff if I'm not mistaken here. So Shadow Ball still doing a good chunk of damage. But yeah, these switch timers are super misaligned all over the place. And you see Harish making actually a great swap here too. I think this is charge from priority, which is actually pretty huge if it is. Harish going for the Earthquake here on charge from priority, which would be huge if that's the case. And let's see if it is going to be shielded by Scarlet Wiz or not, because that's going to make a huge difference. And no, gets no shielded from Scarlet Wiz. But here comes Medicham. Medicham is going to definitely struggle against this Trevenant in the back, and unfortunately not able to get that Earthquake. Chip damage from Rock side would have been okay, but nothing super meaningful for this matchup to at this current time. But you got Trevenant and you got a Noctowl with a loaded energy as well here too. So it's going to be kind of a tough situation for Scarlet Wiz. We've seen the Galarian Stunfisk, we've seen the Mantine, we've seen the Medicham. So we've seen all 3 on their side. And again, like the thing with Mantine is it doesn't really resist any of these moves from the Trevenant. So, and again, I think throwing again on charge and priority there, which is kind of nice. Potentially could force a shield here because if it's Shadow Ball, you really want to get the Ice Punch off. So yeah, I like that play a lot from Harish there. Forcing the charge and priority when it could have been a Shadow Ball to force that final shield from Scarlet Wiz. Again, this Noctowl still has a lot of energy, so even if you pivot to Mantine, it could be interesting. And I expect maybe, yeah, throwing right before charge and priority. I kind of like this too because they could potentially, Scarlet Wiz can potentially swap on the C-Bomb. Instead of just throwing on the charge priority, right, knowing that they typically lose it. And then, oh yeah, this Mantine has way too little health at this point. So Mantine is going to go down at game number 1. It did put up quite a bit of fight, but that is going to go to Harish here. Harish, 1 game away from winning this entire tournament in the grand finals. Can Harish do it? Let's wait and see. And it's going to be that Mantine yet again, but 2 decent checks to it in the back. Even Noctowl's not too bad into it too. But Mantine actually, yeah, doing some work against this whole team. I mean, honestly, besides the Lantern, I mean, even Glaring Stuff is not great, I guess, for it. But otherwise, it has like 4 decent or positive matchups. All right. So here comes the Rock Slide here. Let's see if Scarlet Wiz shields or not. Scarlet Wiz definitely shielded the last time around. It's going to shield yet again. I wonder if there's that Galarian Stunfisk in the back again for Scarlet Wiz because I assume there's no Medicham, otherwise Scarlet Wiz would have probably came in with Medicham already here. But let's see how it goes. Maybe trying to, I don't know. Yeah, the timings are interesting here. Harish actually overfarming, trying to avoid a potential catch here. Is going to overfarm quite a bit here and going to get this Rock Slide. I don't expect this one to be shielded. But again, I don't know. I guess this Mantine, yeah, with enough Bubble Beams, you can actually win this matchup, especially if you spend a shield early. This is actually super annoying for this Galarian Stunfisk. I thought that you needed Bubble for this matchup, but clearly you do not need Bubble. Wing Attack is enough here. And again, another Rock Slide is coming through. But this is a triple debuffed Rock Slide at this point, so not going to do a ton of damage. And yeah, it is not going to do much damage here. Yeah, so another Bubble Beam is going to come through here. And let's see how this plays out. It is going to be no shielded. But again, maximum debuffs at this point here too. I think this Mantine could probably just Wing Attack down. Man, I did not realize this matchup for Mantine was this positive if you just shield 1 Rock Slide. But you're able to farm down here and then also come away with a move, which is super annoying for whatever is in the back here. Well, actually not really, because it's Lantern. So, but you're debuffed. Oh, and here actually comes a Galarian Stuff. It's hard pivot over from Scarlet Wiz here. We still haven't even seen the 3rd Pokemon here from Scarlet Wiz, to my knowledge. But Galarian Stuff is actually going to be pretty good against both the Noctowl and the Lantern. So maybe has an even harder check to the Lantern in the back. It could be Trevenant. But again, I mean, I don't know. This is going to be interesting. If it is Trevenant and they just, Harish just stays in here, then you're in a really tough spot, right? Oh, gets the bait with the Rock Slide, though. It's going to be a huge bait here, making this matchup way more favorable for the Galarian Stunfisk. But the consistent surf damage is going to start adding up, despite Spark not doing much. But yeah, this is still going to do a decent amount of damage here. And we see a swap over. Oh, a swap over into the Noctowl. Is this an Earthquake catch? That'd be huge if it is. And it is, no, it's actually a Rock Slide, so potential Earthquake, but no, actually catching the super effective move instead of the double resistant move here, and then now coming in with a potentially another Rock Slide. I mean, is this like a Noctowl in the, a Trevenant in the back? This could be a really 5-head play just to bait your opponent into thinking that they're strong to Noctowl in the back when they're not. Oh no, okay, so here comes a Mantine. Oh, again, having energy here. This is, I think it is a Trevenant in the back, but at this point, like, what do? Do you not? It's, you know, it's a Bubble Beam, right? But you have to let this go, I think. And oh no, it's a Registeel. Okay, never mind. Double steal there too. Unfortunately, not able to get to the Shadow Ball here. Scarlet Wiz really liking these double steal lines, and I think with a good reason, because it is looking very, very good for Scarlet Wiz in that first matchup against Varma, and again, looking like a decent matchup for Harish here too. Man, this Mantine double steal line is interesting. Was actually running some ABA steal line for Scarlet Wiz against Varma, but with Medicham, it's a little bit hard to run ABA. But still doing a ton of damage here. Actually, no shielding the Zap Cannon, which makes sense. But Scarlet Wiz is going to build up to probably a Focus Blast at this point. May even throw another Zap Cannon, just because the shield is still up for Harish's side. Man, this, I don't know what's up with Scarlet Wiz's Registeel, but it looks like it's a different breed here. I mean, this thing is just tanking moves like harder than I've ever, like better than any Registeel I've seen. Like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, this looks like it's actually going to be a timeout game here too. I mean, yeah, with the Mantine, that makes sense. I mean, these are going to be long battles with all those debuffs. And then Scarlet Wiz is going to throw here. I think Harish knows there's no possible way to take out this Registeel even if you throw all these moves. So is going to just concede on this one. And we do get a timeout here at the very end. All right, so going into game number 3 here. I mean, again, Harish is 1 game away, but Scarlet Wiz is 1 game away from a bracket reset. So that's going to be pretty huge if that does happen. And here we go. It is going to be knocked out into that Galarian Stumpus. Not a terrible situation for this Noctowl, but not great either. It really depends. If you have a breakpoint on that wing attack, that could be pretty huge. Hard to say just because I don't really recognize the HP value based off of this so far. But this is actually pretty interesting for Harish because you don't really have a Galarian Stunfisk check. Your best is a mirror matchup. And you have 2 losing matchups for Lantern and Noctowl. But if you put this low enough, you maybe Mudshot down and try to do something here. Trying to catch maybe a Rock Slide, but unfortunately it's not going to happen here. Do you shield a potential Earthquake? Ooh, this gets tricky. I feel like this might be a Rock Slide bait, but let's see. No, actually going straight away for the Earthquake here too. So making the adjustment because Scarlet Wiz was going straight Rock Slide baits last game, but Harish expecting maybe adjustment here and actually is going to shield here. But looks like losing CMP here too. Do you spend both shields right off the bat here? I mean, you do really have to get rid of this Galarian Stunfisk. No, actually is going to let this go. But the problem is, I think Scarlet Wiz might just like shield and farm down, right? You land the Earthquake, you just Mudshot down at this point. Even if it's a Rock Slide, I think you just outpace with the Mudshots. And yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen here. And then now Scarlet Wiz is coming away with so much energy on this Galarian Stunfisk. And again, this thing has been a nuisance for Harish's team and is going to continue to be a nuisance, especially with all this energy stored up. It's going to be super interesting to see what happens here. Yeah, you got to just throw Sky Attack, take this out or something here. Maybe Harish just lets us go. I don't know. I mean, there might be if there's a Trevenant in the back, this is definitely over. But at the same time, too, like you don't really want to have to shield here because this Galarian Stunfisk has so much energy. Really great timing, though, from Harish. Really understanding exactly how much energy Scarlet Wiz had. Throwing out CMP here, which is huge. Because even if this goes shielded, then you get so much value out of it. And is it? No, it's okay. It's that Mantine. Okay, Mantine. Oh, but here's a Trevenant. Yeah. So this is a tough part here, too, right? A pretty interesting team composition from Scarlet Wiz. But, man, this Mantine is doing work. Even with a Lantern on the team. Scarlet Wiz is not scared to bring that Mantine every single game, and now you get the matchup you want with that Trevenant versus Lantern here. This is looking really tough for Harish here. I mean, you have a lot of energy on this Lantern, but you have a shield, and I mean, you don't even need to shield anything here too. And Trevenant is going to win charge and priority as well. Trying to go for that Thunderbolt, but yeah, I think Harish is going to concede right here. There's not really much you can do at this point, especially because you have a full health Mantine in the back. Like, how do you even take that thing out, right? Let alone the Trevenant at this point. He's going to throw a Sky Attack for good measure, but knows that there's no way this goes unshielded. Even if it goes unshielded, that Mantine is nearly at full health. So it looks like we actually are getting a bracket reset here for Scarlet Wiz. Now, we do get both sides of footage here. I think Scarlet Wiz was playing on an iPad, maybe. The screen was very large, which is why it looks smaller here because it was just a very wide screen here. But either way, we do have both POVs now for this final bracket, for this final set in this bracket reset in the grand finals for the India-Asia qualifier here. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Scarlet Wiz is powering through the loose bracket and resetting the bracket here. Can Scarlet Wiz keep the underdog dream alive, or is Harish going to close it out here too? We saw a lot of great catch from Harish in that first series, and really just that Mantine was causing so many problems here, but is going to throw this Surf before the Earthquake is reached here. Really good calls on the shields. I mean, I think most Galarian Stunfisk are going to throw that Earthquake right away, so it's probably a pretty safe shield, but the second Earthquake is reached before the Surf is reached here too. Do we get another shield from Harish here? It looks like no. This Earthquake is going to land. Unfortunately, not enough to survive there, but this backline matchup looks really good for Harish. I mean, you got Noctowl that can beat all pretty much the entire backline of Scarlet Wiz. I mean, Scarlet Wiz had to swap out here to pivot out and do something here. Matchup is not too bad, especially in the zero shield situation against Noctowl, especially if it's the XL Medicham, and also if you have an energy lead, that's a whole different story. So, how do you get rid of this Trevenant, though? This is actually a different problem for Scarlet Wiz. Actually, playing kind of some Varma strategies here, not really having a clear Trevenant answer in general. If you know shield the Shadow Ball, it could be Shadow Ball is going to be shielded. But at this point, now you're in a really tough spot because you have the Noctowl here. Noctowl is going to do so much work into this Medicham. Medicham is running Ice Punch, but even though it is running Ice Punch, there's still shield remaining. I think Harish just easily shields this, and you're ahead on energy with the Noctowl, which is unfortunate because you're pacing to the Sky Attack at the same time as the Ice Punch is paced. But they're just going to get to 2 Sky Attacks before you get to 2 Ice Punches. It's going to throw this last ditch Ice Punch, but I would expect this to be shielded from Harish here, and it looks like, oh no, not even a shield there. Okay, no shields needed, I guess. But it's going to be able to wing attack down. Still has a shield remaining. This is pretty much over for the Trevenant here. I guess there's a small chance maybe it's Power Punch. I can't remember specifically if in these Asia qualifiers if movesets are revealed ahead of time or not. I know for some of them, like the tournaments in Japan, they do have movesets revealed. So it's possible that the trainers already know the movesets on both sides. I think they are, actually. I think I might have mentioned in the Taiwan video. But either way, this is a terrible lead for the Man team. Finally, you get a good lead for the Man team that you're trying to avoid this whole time. And you actually get an early shield actually from Scarlet Wiz. It's going to be interesting. So now swapping in Trevenant here. Trevenant is, I mean, again, this is not like the cleanest matchup because the rock sites are going to start threatening and you also swapped in later, but you do have a shield advantage, so that is going to be nice. I think Scarlet Wiz is going to try really hard to win switch advantage back because the thing is, one, you have the Trevenant from the Lantern in the back, and then you have a Mantine that you don't want to be matched up against the Lantern. So you really need to somehow flip switch advantage here. That could definitely be a huge deciding factor here. Going straight away for the Shadow Ball, though. Did we see that final shield? No, actually no shield from Scarlet Wiz here, too. This is going to be huge. This is actually going to help Harish maintain alignment here in all likelihood. Okay, yeah, so it's going to get to this rock side beforehand, but honestly, like, you don't even need to shield this. I think the Trevenant should be able to hang on, but Harish going to play it safe, which I think is fair because, again, like, Mantine's got, like, nowhere to go, right? But on top of that, you actually have the Noctowl for the Trevenant here, too. I mean, yeah, this is going to be tough. Mantine actually is going to come in against the Trevenant, but the problem is this is going to do a lot of damage still. It is going to be all neutral here, and it is not a debuff Trevenant. And let's see, going for another Shadow Ball. Oh my goodness, this is going to be really tough here. But I think Scarlet Wiz is content on just burning all this energy away from Harish here, trying to sweep maybe with the Trevenant, but this is going to be met by the Noctowl, and it looks like, yeah, I think they recognize what's happening, and they're going to quit out. And it looks like Harish is actually going to win the entire tournament. He is going to be the champion for the Asia qualifier in India, and what an incredible run there too. From Harish, making it kind of tough. Scarlet Wiz made it kind of tough in that grand finals with the Man team, but finally getting the matchups that Harish wanted in the final bracket reset. Reviewing the official bracket as well with all the teams, you can see the top 3, but you also see Hot Pot, Jackpot make it to 4th spot as well, and these are of course not the entire top 16 bracket, but you can see also the teams that they use on their Swiss qualifier rounds as well. And I think all of them changed their teams up except for Hot Pot, Jackpot. Actually a Shadow Victory Belt actually from Varma in the Swiss qualifier, but they decided to switch it up. Actually, there's quite a few switches for Varma side, which is very interesting. Great games from these Indian trainers. I know we're missing some footage, but again, these trainers didn't know that I was going to shoutcast the videos, but shout out to all of them for submitting their footage and letting me shoutcast, and also shout out to the guys at DracoViz who gathered the footage and also did the graphics on this tournament. But yeah, it was really cool to see some of the battles, especially from areas where there aren't typically broadcasts for these tournaments. But again, congratulations for Harish for winning the entire tournament, and congratulations to Scarlet Wiz for also qualifying for World Championships. thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and the battles here. I certainly did, and it was definitely a lot of fun, especially seeing that Man team put in work. I didn't see Bastion, but I think for good reason there too. There's a couple more Asian qualifiers that have happened, and I will be able to shoutcast at least one more, maybe some more, depending if we get the footage or not. But best of luck to everyone that's still competing and qualifying through both the Asian qualifier and all the other regionals and internationals around the world. And thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye.